Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're with us Monday morning. It's going to be another hot one, but listen, it's okay to be hot now because yesterday was the first official day of summer. In case you didn't know, last week it was still late spring. So this week now we're going to be in summertime. High today is going to be 91 and low tonight 78. The water temperature is going up to 88 degrees. It went up again from 87 to 88. It's just been a really warm drift of water we've had coming in here like this. All right, let's take a look at our Monday moon forecast. Every Monday I'd like to take a look at this, and today is the 22nd of June. Can you believe that? We're looking at a half moon by Wednesday of this week and a full moon by the latter part of next week. It comes around before you know it. So the moon is on a waxing stage and it's getting bigger. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Their motto is "When Carrying Counts," and the tide is not quite as strong this week as were last week. We have a low tide at 11:44 this morning is a high tide. Okay, high tide 11:44 and low tonight at 10:14. So it's going to be it's still coming in and it's going to start drifting out, but it's just not quite as strong. But again, good summertime tides as far as high water in the morning. Okay, take a look at let's go into our fishing game forecast on this segment, because the last segment we're going to talk about scalloping. I'm going to show you some things in St. Joe Bay, so I'll be up at the TV screen showing you that. So let's do our fishing game forecast brought to us by Mark Coward of Edgewater Beach Realty at 832-6000. Our times this morning, 5:19 to 7:19, and this evening, 5:41 to 7:41. Now, I want to mention that it's so important that it's just been hot. I fished some last week, and it's just been extremely hot fishing. So you see these good morning times. Get up early and go fishing early, and come on in by about 10:30, 11, or noon. Try to start breaking up your fishing, because it's miserable out there in the middle of the day. We've been out there and it just hadn't been in a breeze or anything. It's just it's brutally hot. Okay, we're going to take our first break and be right back. Welcome back. Glad you're with us on this Monday morning. Let's start off with a few pictures here. There are all kinds of pictures. This first one is fascinating to me. This is Perry Nelson's fish cleaning table. At the top part is one that Perry made, and that's a good job. It's creative and a really good fish cleaning table. You can stand up and all, but his very thoughtful and sweet wife, Rebecca, bought him one for his birthday, the bottom screen. So that's the before and after. So you can get these fish cleaning tables now. They're not that expensive, and of course, a lot of people still do it like Perry had. But anyway, that's very thoughtful, Rebecca. I'm glad you got Perry a fish cleaning table. So they got them down in Blue Water, too. I saw some down there the other day. All right, this next picture has nothing to do with outdoors other than just if you appreciate beauty. These are hydrangeas up there at the May Nursery up there in Havana, between Quincy and Havana, Florida. The May family, I've known them for generations. When I go on my quail hunting trip, Bradford May, if you remember Bradford May, this is his family's nursery. I just thought that was just a beautiful shot. And I know it's more beautiful in person, but if you have appreciation of nature and appreciation of beauty, I think you'd appreciate the May Nursery there with all the blooms they have. How about Heather Bass with this big drum, which is sheephead family. Heather, they're staying at our place down at the Cape. She and Tony Tony Bass, of course, we went fishing together last week. But Heather caught this over there by the bridge. They went fishing, and in fact, they had this for supper that night, and had Tony said that was delicious. They blackened it on the grill. And good job, Heather. Of course, Tony caught a big red snapper. You caught that. Y'all had a good week down there. Good job. All right, how about just a simple picture like this? That ought to get you all fired up on freshwater fishing. This is Bill Buchanan fishing off the Choctawhatchee River. Big bull brim there. Good job, Bill. You want to see, how about jumping back to saltwater with a big 50-pound king mackerel? That's Jason Shingler there. Good job. That would win a lot of tournaments right there. And this is our fishing trip last week. Tony Bass and his brother-in-law and I went out, and look how calm the water was. I was just talking to you about how hot it was. That's one of the reasons. But Tony caught this nice. We fishing on public numbers within sight of land. In fact, you can see the Cape right there behind us, and we didn't go out very far at all. So I'll have that video sometime this week, okay? Let me skip through. Well, let me show you this other one too, because we're going to talk about scallops later. and try to take a look at this, try to figure out now. Just ignore all the lines except the solid black line, okay? The solid black line, and look at 2014 in the lower right-hand corner. That solid black is St. Joe Bay of last year. I do not have the numbers yet for this year. They should be coming to me any day. But remember last year it was bad. So that was the scallop population last year. The other locations, the other lines, but the solid black was St. Joe Bay. Let me see, Tony. I skipped Tony's picture. I got one more picture. This is good. Dixie Joe Gay sent this picture. You think the turkey population doing good up around Conard? Is that a great shot? I mean, look at. I think I counted 13 or 14 turkey going across the road there. That's a good job. And okay, and I'm going to show you one more sign while I'm doing this. This sign right here, no parking any time. This is down on the road going. This is Highway 30A. We're going to be down in Gulf County. A lot of y'all park beside the road in the years past, and I'm going to show you later on. But you cannot park this year. No parking anytime. I think this is a good move. I took this out of my truck window the other day, and let's see, that's it right there. So anyway, we talked about this safety. Remember last year? I'm going to show you on the curve right down there where a lot of people park and walk out to St. Joe Bay and scalloping, and it always worried me because you have 15, 20 cars. So this year, I don't know if they heard it on Panhandle Outdoors, but they put some signs up. And a lot of times we talk about government interference and all that, but this time they're doing it for the welfare and betterment of and the safety of our citizens. So I appreciate them putting up those signs. And there's some other places I can show you where to get in there too. Okay, I got this email from Phyllis Brookins. Hey, Winston, hope all is well with the family. You were talking about things to do this summer. I love watching the show every morning, and you were talking about things to do this morning. You mentioned you mentioned a state park, but I did not catch the name of the park. I'm always looking for new things to do, and the list you gave me, gave me some great ideas that you gave on the show. Will you send me the name of the park that you were talking about? And please thank you for all you do, and have a blessed summer. That's Phyllis Brookins. Phyllis, we're talking about Terrell State Park. I emailed this back to her, but just for your benefit too. Well, last week talking about our list of things to do in the summer. That was Terrell State Park, and it's just an outstanding area. And I've used it for years. Actually, it didn't become a state park till 1974, but it's on Highway 12 right there north of Bristol. The great thing about it is hiking trails, and it has a couple of them. Now they're big loops. But then they're like 7.2 miles, and then also they have a little short one, about a mile. So, you go online and get the maps and all. But it's a great experience, man. It's really hot now, so if you're going to start early in the morning, and hike them out. Now, to put in perspective what 7 miles is in hiking, I used to do a lot of hiking on the Appalachian Trail, and our goal in one day would be to try to get us 7 or 8 miles in, and that was pretty strenuous hiking. So that puts it in perspective there. In those days, if we get 7 or 8 miles in and then set up camp, we felt good about the progress we were making. So, and it goes up, as bluffs and ravines, it goes up about 300 feet. So it's a beautiful area, and it's really neat. The Gregory House is located there, and that's the centerpiece of Terrell State Park, and it's special to our family. Gail was a Gregory before we married, and she's a descendant of that Gregory family. And that house was actually built in the 1840s across the river at Ochese. And then after the Civil War and all, it was a big, huge plantation. After the Civil War and all, they went into disarray and all, but somehow the house stayed there in good shape. So during the Depression, 1930s, the CCC, the Conservation Corps, okay, that's what the government put people to work on. I know, if you know American history, you know what I'm talking about. They actually took that house apart, board by board, put it on a barge, took it across the river, took it up that 300-foot embankment, and rebuilt that house where it stood. It's amazing. It took them a couple of years to do it, and it was, giving men a job to do and all that. So, and I want to visit there. We've been there a lot. I'd like to maybe go again, take the camera, and bring back some video. But anyway, great place to visit, Terrell State Park. Okay, let's take this quick break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm doing some research on, we had these shark attacks off the Carolina coast, and we've always been worried about them down here, and there's nothing really to worry about. This is I found some tips. It just came out. The guy down at the International Shark Attack Files there in Gainesville, and they keep a record of it. A guy named George Burgess, he came up with some pointers to sort of help you not have a negative, what they call a negative encounter with a shark. I've never heard of a positive encounter with a shark, but anyway, these are good. I wasn't going to spend a lot of time on them, but I want to go ahead and I'm going to read you 10 of them. There are 12. I'm going to read you the first 10 because this is just something to take in mind. We've got scallop season opening up this weekend. I've always talked about, St. Joe Bay and those channels in there. Then we have them, we've had that great white shark here, so the sharks are out there, and the bull sharks out there, and a lot of bull sharks. And there, on our fishing trip, I saw another huge shark this past week follow one of, huge shark right out of the mouth of St. Joe Bay. Okay, here's one of the things. Okay, number one, avoid being in the water from sunset till sunrise. Okay, in other words, don't swim at those times. And that's good advice. I would heed that one. No need to go out there at that time. That's when the sharks are active. Okay, number two, stay in a group and do not wander from shore. This is what bothers me at St. Joe Bay and we've done it I've seen our kids do it, and I've gotten on to them. A lot of times, a single person, a little kid just starts swimming and go 30, 40 yards away from you, and they're looking for scallops. They're oblivious to where they are, and they're like a little single target there. So really keep everybody in groups and all, okay? So that's important. That's a good one there, too. Check your clothing and all. Don't wear shiny jewelry. There's the glare. Y'all know that. That light resembles like fish scales. Okay, this guy's pretty smart now. I was impressed what he wrote down. Number four, avoid brightly colored or patterned clothing because sharks see contrast. Now, I never had heard this one. They'll see the contrast in the clothing and all if you wear it like bright and then a contrasting color. That's interesting. Number five, do not enter waters. If you see some commercial or sport fishermen out there fishing, and especially if they're chumming, and we do that ourselves. We were chumming this past week on our fishing trip, and I might have been when we saw that shark. So if you see a lot of fishermen in one area, don't go there swimming around there. Sort of stay out there because the shark's going to be there too because the bait is there. Okay, that's important. Porpoises, a lot of times say, oh, porpoises are there, sharks aren't there. The porpoises are following the bait. And so are the sharks following the bait. And that's why they're there jumping up and down feeding. So if you see a lot of activity out there, the chances are if you porpoise up here, the sharks are down here. I thought that was a good point. I was really impressed with these. Number 8, this is interesting. Refrain from excess splashing. I've never heard that because we get out in the water sometimes, we're so happy we're splashing around like a bunch of crazy people, and we just always splashing. So I don't know if that's going to deter me or not, but it makes sense if you're splashing around. They think it's like a wounded fish. Number 9, exercise caution between, we talk about this a lot, caution between the sandbars. You got a sandbar here and a sandbar here, then you have that low dip right there. And that's really where you need to be careful because of that's where the sharks will be cruising. And I used to go out and wade at that second sandbar and make my cast. I've quit doing that. I just get a bigger rod and cast further from that first sandbar. I don't go in that trough anymore. I just don't do it. I don't feel comfortable there. And number 10, just know where you are. Of course, don't if you know sharks are present and all, just be aware of that. But you got a bigger chance of being struck by lightning. It goes on to talk about it. And if you do see a shark, stay calm. Don't go. I know it's easy for us to say, but just sort of back up and don't go running away. Okay. All right, that was a good point. So International Shark Attack Files. All right, now talking about marketing calendars on outdoor activities. I know it's a ways off, but August brings in 2 really big tournaments here in the Panhandle that's special and unique to the Panhandle. This one right here is the Mexico Beach Artificial Reef Association, and like I say, that's where we fished and caught our fish this past week. Their big is August the 29th. Go and put that on your calendar. August the 29th, the Kingfish Tournament, the last weekend of August. But the first weekend of August is one down at Sea Quarters. This is their little flyer they've already sent out. This is a program they have. So these have already been sent out. Mark your calendar for the first weekend in August. Now, interestingly enough, August the 1st is the first weekend of August. So the captain's meeting will be July 31st. And looking through here, Lady won last year. Lady Angler won it, and they've given away all kind of prize money. It talks about the amount of money they've donated to leukemia research. Now, folks, I want to tell you something. This is a special tournament. I feel so very strong about this tournament. If you don't fish it, if there's any way you can do to help out and all, it's such a great cause with a small group, a small community, and it's just expanded. they've raised over, and this is their 12th year doing it, but they've raised over $750,000 with the Leukemia Research Foundation from this single tournament. On the raffle last year, they raised $25,000 on raffles. You may want to just donate something to a raffle. We'll talk more about this. I just want you to go and put it on your calendar if you get a chance. This is a 2-day tournament, and yours truly be fishing it with my buddies from Valdosta, and we just have a ball fishing it, and it's just all win-win situation. So put that on your calendar, the Sea Quarters and the Mexico Beach tournaments in August, okay? All right, let's get ready for our final break. We're going to come back. I'm going to set up St. Joe Bay, and this weekend scalloping opening up, so I'm going to show you some places to go scalloping, okay? All right, welcome back. It's sort of like our Friday fishing forecast. We're just going to talk about our scalloping on Monday because it opens up this weekend. It's an exciting time. I told Jeff I think I pretty well can handle this. I think I can wing it because I've been scalloping down there about 40 years, and so it's been a wonderful experience with family and all, and now we'll do it with grandkids and everything. And I'm just going to tell you from my experience what we've done and all, and just basic things. And I'm going to have Ronnie Groom come in tomorrow and show you some equipment and all. So today we're going to just talk about location. That's important. Now, let's just look at St. Joe Bay in general. First of all, let's talk about the layout, of course, and where to put your boat in. Now, there's a boat landing right here at St. Joe, but you remember folks down there have started charging you now. If you're from out of Gulf County, you're going to have to pay to put in here. That's one place to put in. The second place, of course, is a commercial place down at Press Nails, which is closest to anything. And the third place would be the state park here, which you'd have to pay to get in the state park. So those are the three basic places. Also, you can put in under here, under the bridge right here. It's going to be a long run down here. So that's the places to put your boat in now. So let me zoom in, and I'm going to show you one of the interesting developments been over the year. I'm going to zoom way on in here to the stump hole, really. And in fact, you're going to actually see the rocks, okay? So everybody see where we are? Here are the rocks. This is the curve here. These are the rocks right here at the stump hole. The boulders they put up to stop the erosion because they fear that the next storm would wash it through, which it would. And they still may do it with the rocks there, but that remains to be seen. Now, what I wanted to show you is this is kayak launching. This is Lighthouse Bayou. So you can put your kayaks in right here. I could probably even get it closer. You see, you can actually see, you can put kayaks in here. You can park out here, you can launch your kayaks in here and all. So now, once you do that, you can, now I've hit this area quite a bit over the past years. Now I want you to notice the channels, okay? Two things on the channels. It's good for your boat. But this area gets hit pretty bad. Last 4 or 5 years, it gets hit pretty heavy because so many people are hitting it, but still a lot of scallops here. Come in on the channels. I parked my boat, I anchored my boat right up here, and I hit these flats here, okay? That's the last few years, that's been really good. But also, the biggest shark I've ever seen has been right here. When I drift, we got a limit, we're drift fishing, Gail and I were just drift fishing, and a huge shark. What they do, they come in on those channels. I don't want to scare you all about sharks, and I just want you to be aware of it and understand it. Of course, the bread and butter place to go, everybody centers things around Black's Island, which is right here. Now, it's gotten commercialized because all kind of houses here now. It used to be just a little Boy Scout camp for years when we first started doing it. So Black's Island, you come in here. Now, it gets shallow here, so know what your tides are doing. Come on either side of Black's Island, and okay. And there's some, the old timers will come in here and do a lot of fishing. This is good trout fishing in here, but here's the island right here. This is real shallow in here. So, okay, so you can come in here on the backside of Black's Island. The last couple of years, Conch Island. Understand where Conch Island is. The last 3 or 4 years, now about 10, 15 years ago, we really got some scallops in here. Then they left, and then the last couple of years, right through here, have been good scalloping, been excellent scalloping. This is Press Nails Marina, okay? You can put your boat in here. A lot of folks will be camping and all, and it's a situation where it's a win-win situation as far as location, okay? So you got, let me get down here a little bit closer. I've been impressed at the amount of scallops in here, so I'm not going to be sure exactly where they're going to be this year, but like I said, now also last year, Bill Allen and I made a stop up, let's see if I can get it up here. See your channel, you're coming out of, right here. You're coming out of Press Nails, and here's Black's Island, that channel right there. We actually found some scallops up in here last year, okay? And that's a good place too. So a lot of people are going to go back in here. Again, I'm going to go on the back side. Let me get back here on the back side. The majority of scallops each year, the majority of scallops found in St. Joe Bay are going to be found in this area right through here. That's a big circle, I know. But what are you going to do now? You need to see where the boats are. And let me go ahead and say this. Have common courtesy. You're going to see some boats out there, and don't go flying right there to them. First of all, slow down. Last year I saw boats speed through there. There are people all over the place. Okay, you got to have your flag up. We'll talk about that tomorrow. You got to have your flag up. But also, if you see somebody out there 15 20 yards, don't go right up next to them and throw your anchor out. It irritates everybody. Just have common courtesy and keep a safe distance. Ideally, I like to use the term I use, and the FWC started using it too. Courteous is about 1 football field length away from another boat. And that way it gives both y'all room. That only gives you room to swim 50 yards, really, around your boat. So if you get up there closer than that, just think y'all going to be running back and forth and all. And it's just, St. Joe Bay is big, so have courtesy and all, and don't just go running up on top of people. Let's get back here to location again. Some folks will do a little bit of scalloping. There's always some scallops there. The folks, when they come back from Florida Wildlife Research Institute, the folks I know down there, they have 10 stations out there, and that's one that they're checking those 10 stations. And they have a couple of stations here, but each year those stations have less scallops than any of these stations down through here. And they'll check them all over the bay. So the majority of the scallops, again, are just in here. Also keep this in mind. They will be moving. Those scallops will be moving. They don't just stay in one area, okay? They'll actually, as the course of the summer, will start moving. So be aware of that. So that's the locations, and just as soon as I get the word from them, I can tell you the count for this year. But we'll know. A lot of folks will be going Saturday. We have the Chester Family Reunion, the 78th Chester Family Reunion Saturday. So I won't get to go opening day, but I promise you the next week I'll be going some and give you some reports, okay? Going to wrap it up for today. Like I said, tomorrow we'll have Ronnie in, then Wednesday we'll have FWC, Travis Bassford to be in. So they got a good video for you on our trip we took last week. It'll be on Thursday. So you have a great day. Have a great Monday. Always do something good for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.